Have you ever been called a band geek, a theater nerd, cyber dork, studio rat, gamer punk, orchestra dork, book monkey, drama jock, Poindexter, artsy fartsy, or just plain weird? Well then, welcome to Art Nerds. This is the podcast where we sit down with our nerdy friends, embrace our inner geek, and celebrate our art. And welcome back, my friends. This is Art Nerds. This is the podcast where we talk to our nerdy friends about their artwork. And today, on the other microphone, I have a friend of mine named Teri Lee Sturdyvin. How are you, my friend?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing well. After many attempts to get this podcast, get this episode underway, I think we finally got it. We are here live at Charlotte's in Danville. It's a lovely little restaurant. I highly recommend it. But Teri, where do you want to? I mean, you're multiple artist.
Yes.
You're a bajillion threat. What would you like to start? What is your art or arts?
I would say my D&D podcast that I'm a part of. It's pretty exciting art that we're putting out into the world, I guess.
That is exciting. Yeah, very much so. And anything else?
I do pole dancing too.
And I happen to know you're also a theater artist.
Yes, I also do theater.
You're also a theater. So where do you want to start? You want to do?
I don't know, wherever, I guess.
Well, let's start with D&D.
All right.
Okay. How long have you been at it?
Around like 2017, I think. So fairly recent.
Okay, but that's still 5 years.
Yeah, I guess. It seems recent.
How did you get into it?
I saw the play, She Kills Monsters, and I loved it. And my friend who was into D&D, turned around to me, and she was like, "Oh, too bad you didn't understand anything." And I was like,
"Oh, no."
I was like, "It was a really good show. What do you mean?" But yeah, so I started to get into D&D then, but didn't actually start playing until I graduated college. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So did you start playing as a player or?
Yeah, as a player. Had a really short... I directed She Kills Monsters later because I loved it.
Right.
And I had a friend, actually the DM for our podcast, he DM'd for me and my actors in the play to try and get them associated with D&D a little bit and try and get them into character.
So you played as kind of a...
Yeah. Well, I tried to get them to play as their characters, but they didn't really want to. They wanted to be cool, exciting things, and...
Sure.
But, yeah,
but you got them to play prior to the show, so there was some knowledge base. Yeah, that's a grand idea.
That was my first real experience with D&D, and then we just continued from there.
Do you find it addicting?
Yes. I'll always want to play.
I do too. You play once that felt so good. And then 3 days later you get that itch again.
Yeah. I wish I wasn't involved with everything else because I would have a different one every night. Different group of friends.
Yeah, I wish I could play on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I get once a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, same thing. So tell me about your podcast.
It is called QuestFest. And
QuestFest,
yes. Short for Questful Festival. In case we get in trouble, there's 2 other things that are called QuestFest out in the world, but they have nothing to do with D&D or podcasts or anything, so I think we're fine. But
sounds good.
Just in case we get in trouble, we're gonna say it's short for Questful Festival. But yeah, it is 4 players, and we each have 3 characters. So we have 3 different party setups that are all in the same world.
So same players. Each player has 3 characters.
Yep.
And do you swap back and forth between the characters while you're playing?
Not yet.
Not yet? It's in the works?
We might. You're going to have to listen to find out, I guess.
I have listened to a couple of episodes. I have gotten started on it, and it is a lot of fun. You guys have a good time playing.
Yeah, we just released episode 10 the other day.
Oh, fantastic. So, whose idea? Brain fart. because we had talked about this earlier about this multiple characters per D&D session. How did that come about? I mean, and have you tried it? Is it working? Is it fun? I want to know all this.
Yeah. It was mostly our DM, Brian Good. He wanted like something interesting and new to make us different than other podcasts, because there's a ton of D&D podcasts now. And so we wanted something to like hook people's interest. And so far it's been really fun, and all the people that we have picked as actors are very good at voice acting and making their characters seem very different. And but yeah, hopefully it's not too confusing for the audience. We have the episodes labeled like which characters, so that hopefully people know what they're going into when they start the episode.
Right. So you're 10 episodes in. How's in terms of people listening?
It's pretty good. We have I think we have like 400 downloads. Do you
really?
I think every time we release a new episode, we have like 20 people that usually listen to it like the day of or the day after.
Wow.
So yeah, hopefully we can...
Congrats. Those are good numbers for only 10 episodes.
Yeah, we had a bunch of friends really interested in it when we first released it. So hopefully we continue growing.
So tell me about your characters then. Because like I said, I'm curious, because I come at this as a theater person, and I'm always curious about your thought process about character building and what kind of things turn you on that way.
Yeah.
And especially how you're going to do the same campaign playing how many? 3, 4
different? Yeah. And a couple one-shots that are different characters too.
Now, the one-shots I get.
Yeah.
That's easy. Just throw something together and have a good time. But maintaining 3 characters for a long campaign.
Yeah, so I play... all of my characters have fun names, because why not? Bonbon Parsons is a gnome barbarian.
I like that combination. Gnome barbarian.
Yeah, I really wanted a little tiny barbarian, and so that's how we came to that one. My second character that is released is Richard Sucker, which is a pun. He is oh geez, what is he? He was a human, and he may or may not have been bitten by a vampire.
Okay, now I get it.
And he's a cleric, and he's very like unsure of himself, and like just recently went through a divorce, and he's a very like, I feel like he's going to be the fan favorite because he's just so pitiful.
A cleric vampire. That seems to be a contradiction in terms as well.
Yes, I like those. I like contradictions. But
that's the interesting part to me.
Actually, he wasn't going to be a vampire. I said his name, and our DM, I think, he was like, oh, he should be a vampire. That would be funny. And I was like, oh, he is now. So, and then my third character is Sheep Cherokee. I have to say it in a French accent because I don't know if I can pronounce it otherwise. But
Jeep.
I took Jeep Cherokee and switched the first letters, so it's Sheep Cherokee.
Okay, and this character is?
She is a halfling monk. So
okay,
she's the fighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems horribly ordinary compared to the other ones.
Well, yeah, but she's French.
Fair enough.
So
French with an attitude, maybe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so my characters are all pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And was the podcast your idea to put it on a podcast, or was it a kind of a group thing?
It was kind of a group thing. was thinking about like all of my friends and how good of actors they are, and I was like, man, we could totally make a D&D podcast. And I messaged Brian and I was like, hey, you're a good DM, you should make a D&D podcast. And he was like, actually, we're kind of already thinking about that. So I got invited to be a part of it, and so it's Brian and me and my boyfriend Cameron, and then Justin Collette, who was already on this podcast.
Yes, we know Justin.
And then my friend Ryan Fleming is also in it. So, yeah.
1, 2, 3,
4.
So
Four players and a DM.
Oh, perfect for a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have listened to it, so I highly recommend anybody listening to go to it, because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And these goofballs do have a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I don't use that to be mean or anything, but it is fun. It is a ton of fun. Tell me about the pole dancing.
Okay.
I mean, because I think, and again, we've talked about this a little bit before. Now I'm an old man. And in my day, that kind of thing had these connotations of, stripper, sex club kind of thing. And that's changing, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot more people like getting into it for like fitness. And I go to Defy Gravity, and they have like a lot of like fitnessy like conditioning classes. And
right.
Yeah, it's very good for getting in shape or losing weight and getting toned. And
yeah, because it's serious exercise.
Yeah.
It's serious work if you're.
But it's really not that hard. Like my first class I ever took, I was really surprised by how I picked it up really quickly. And I've noticed other people, like their first class, they come out of it like, oh my God, I did it.
Really?
So yeah, it's not as hard as it seems.
Okay.
Obviously, there are very hard moves that are really advanced, but yeah, just going into it like fundamentals level, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy. And
okay. Now, do you use it strictly for exercise? Because at least in my perception of it, it's also turning into a form of performance, of dance.
Yeah.
Do you?
I think I use it mostly as like a dance outlet, because I would like to be a dancer. I just need to do it more. But yeah, so I really fell in love with the dance side of it, and a lot of the girls have gone on to like big performances and competitions even. And
really?
Yeah, and we have very good instructors that go on and compete for pole dance. And then Defy Gravity also has twice a year a showcase, and so students and instructors can choreograph a dance and perform it, and
kind of like a dance concert of sorts.
Yeah, so I've done that once as a solo and then once as a group dance so far.
A group dance, like a multiple poles, or
well, that one,
again, I'm learning on this one, so I have no idea.
That one was mostly a chair dance, so we had like 4 chairs and 2 poles, and so we were all kind of spinning around each other and switching places, and it was very cool.
Neat.
Yeah. So
that sounds, I'm trying to picture it in my head. It sounds very Cirque du Soleil to a certain extent.
Yeah. Yeah, they also have classes like burlesque classes and like chair dance, and they also teach aerial there, so you can do the silks, which are the 2 fabrics, the lyra, which is the big hoop. You can learn trapeze. Yeah, they teach a lot of things.
Have you ventured into any of these other ones?
Yeah, a little bit. I like them too.
Okay.
I think I like pole dance more, but
why?
It's more dancey. I feel like the aerials are, you have to think more about where to put your body so you don't fall down. Pole, you're usually on the ground for most of it.
Okay.
So.
It's a little more fluid, I guess is the word.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to make it more dancey, yeah.
Okay. Is that what turned you on about it? Or
I think so, yeah.
Is the dance aspect of it?
I also really like the fitness. I'm definitely much more like toned than I used to be since I started pole dancing. And yeah, it's a good way to stay in shape, and I like the dance classes. And there's also sexy classes if you want to learn the more like sensual side, and I love those too.
But that's not the point of it, though.
No,
Okay.
it's mostly just fun and like expression, and
Neat.
it's a really good way to get people like out of their comfort zones and like more comfortable in their bodies and stuff.
Right.
So
Yes.
way to go.
Because I'm sitting on
Because you're sitting on it.
Yeah, so, do you see yourself doing more with the pole dancing in terms of performance, or is it just one of those things that you do?
I will probably start doing performances more. I'm just kind of getting more comfortable, like, performing.
Okay.
Mostly just doing it for me for a while, but now I feel pretty confident, and I would love to be an instructor there someday, because I really want to, like, teach people and spread the good word.
You had mentioned that it's a confidence builder, and because you seem very confident with it, and then you have no problem talking about it, and you have no problems expressing yourself from the neck down with it. Do you see that with other folks? I mean, do you see that kind of confidence building in other people, or?
Yeah.
I mean, is this? Or am I generalizing, or?
No, I feel like it does definitely help people be more confident. They have classes there called Fluffy Kitty classes, so they're for bigger people that might not be comfortable with little skinny people like me. And so the instructors for those are great. They're lovely people. But yeah, I have friends that have taken them, and they're super self-conscious. Like, I'm too big, I'm gonna knock the pole over, and like they come out of it like, oh my god, I did it, and that was really fun, and I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. And
But I think that's again, that's for me, that's an interesting part of it, is how something like that will
yeah, and
transform your brain a little bit.
We always suggest that people take videos so that they can see their progression and see how good they're getting. A lot of people don't take videos at first because they're shy and don't want to film themselves pole dancing. That seems crazy, but then like after a while they'll start trying it out and they'll really like it, and a lot of people end up posting it on social media, which to me seems a little bit crazy still. But I have a Instagram so that people can check out my pole dance, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't post it on my like normal Facebook account or anything.
Yeah,
but
keep it tucked away in one folder somewhere.
yeah. But yeah, I've been surprised that people are like very unsure if they're gonna like it, and then end up like sharing it with the world, which is really cool.
That is cool. When you share it with the world, do you get feedback from that?
Yeah, it's people generally are really excited about it, and like they're always amazed, like, oh wow, that looked so cool, I can't believe you did that, and like you're very graceful and you made it look so easy and stuff. And then people generally like, where can I take classes like that?
Yeah, I can see that being a confidence boost. I can see that your self-esteem going through the roof for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Is it difficult? I mean, you said it's easy to get started. What is easier and or more difficult, the physical aspect of it or the mental aspect of it?
I think honestly the mental aspect of it is harder to get over for people. I think physically it's pretty easy to pick up. The way they teach the moves, and especially at fundamentals level, like they're pretty easy and pretty much anybody can learn them. And it's a matter of you thinking that you can and like letting yourself be vulnerable. And
Okay, vulnerable. I think that's another thing that I think, again, me being an old man and the old connotations, that is another one of the bigger aspects of it.
Yeah, I think that's a big aspect for most people is that, like, they all have that, like, pole dancing is for strippers. And, like, I'm not that type of person. And so they kind of have to get over that first. And then once they start doing it and they're fully clothed, they're like, oh, this is kind of fun. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's interesting because I talked to Katie Baquette on the podcast a month or so ago, and she does a lot of the burlesque stuff. Yeah. And she's saying the same thing. It's just, it's a mental game, a lot of it. Just getting started into it. Would you recommend it to other people?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. Like, whether you're old and frail or think you're too big and gonna knock over the pole, like, you can definitely do it. I
like the fact that that you included the age and the body types. And now, is there a lot of different genders at point? Because again, I'm coming from a very old aesthetic.
It's mostly female. We have had a couple guys come in and do stuff. Guys tend to like the aerial stuff more, it seems. It's a lot more like strength based. We also have a lot of people that are like transgender or non-binary. It's a very safe space for people, but yeah.
Nice to hear that it is such a safe space.
Yeah.
In terms of the pole dancing, do you have any like heroes or muses, or people that you look up to, or is it? I'll just stop. I'll let you talk. I don't want to plant ideas. I
don't really know any like famous pole dancers really. I follow some people on Instagram that are really cool. I mostly look up to the instructors at Defy Gravity that I like first started with, that really taught me like all the fundamentals and stuff.
Okay.
And I got to grow with them, and some of them are still teaching there and some of them have like moved out of the area, but yeah, I just love the instructors there and I feel like I look up to them a lot.
And you want to be an instructor?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
For what reason?
I just obviously really like it and I want to share it with people, and I want to point out what they're doing wrong so that they can feel better about it. But yeah, I want to teach people how to do it and show them that they can, mostly.
Again, sticking to the pole dancing part, what about, I'm going to use this weird phrase, what about it turns you on? And that can mean, and I use that phrase intentionally because it's kind of ambiguous. So.
Yeah. I do really like the confidence that it gives me. I would always say, like, Defy Gravity is my happy place. Like, whenever I go there and take a class, it makes my week better. But yeah, and I like having an outlet to go and dance. And I personally really like the dance aspect. That's a very, like, stress reliever for me.
Right. So it's more than just exercise. I mean, there's a for you at least. It sounds like it's a big part of you, your brain, your week. There's more to it than I think you're letting on.
Yeah, but yeah, if you wanted to go and just get a workout, they definitely have like conditioning classes that you can just go there instead of a gym. Like, I would definitely do that if I had more time and money to go there all the time.
Is there anything about it that turns you off?
I think the only thing would be like moves that I still can get, and it's upsetting to me. Like I'm pretty advanced, but I can't really pick up the moves to get into the highest level. I think the highest level at Defy Gravity is level 3, and I just can't do the moves that I need to get up into that level. So that part is frustrating, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. I think I like all the people there, and I like the different classes that they offer, and it's a little bit expensive, but pretty much the same as like a dance class.
Okay. Yeah.
But
out of curiosity, and again, I don't mean to insinuate anything, have you received any negative pushback or feedback from family, friends, online, or about this? Because you have such a positive attitude about it, which I think is marvelous, which I think is necessary.
Not really. I haven't really gotten any weird... I mean, I've gotten like an occasional like random guy trying to hit on me for liking my video or something, but it hasn't really been too bad. Actually, I found it really funny. I do belly dance too, and
you haven't mentioned this yet? What?
But I do belly dance too, and my dad like thinks that belly dance is much more sexual and I shouldn't do that, but he really likes pole dance because he can see that I'm like gaining so much muscle, and he's like, oh, it's such a great workout, you should continue doing that one. And so it's so funny to me, because I'm like, that's like, I feel like pole dance has a way worse connotation for like being sexual, but
I would think so too. But then again, being a dad myself, I don't want to see my daughter doing that.
Yeah.
However, that's funny.
Yeah.
So how long have you been belly dancing? We got another episode to go through.
I haven't been doing it much lately because the COVID and everything. We kind of stopped meeting up, but I started doing that when I got back in the area after college too.
Okay.
So yeah, about the same amount of time, but much less experience with that, just because we don't meet up as much anymore.
Right.
But yeah, we would go to I can't remember what they're called. It's basically just a group of belly dancers all meeting up and performing for each other. And so it's very fun, and everybody's in the audience like making noises at you while you're dancing. And but yeah.
So what's more difficult, pole dancing or belly dancing?
Pole dancing, definitely.
Okay.
Belly dancing is also pretty easy to get into, but it's much more like you gotta figure out how to isolate parts of your body, and that I feel like that's probably hard for people to figure out how to move that way. But pole dancing is like easier and harder. Like fundamentals level is probably easier just to pick up, but yeah, as you get higher up, it's definitely harder.
Yeah, I'm eternally jealous of dancers. I mean, I'm an old man. I'm big. I'm approaching Santa Claus status in terms of my size. But yeah, I think I think it's such fun that you've chosen. I won't say the exotic. That's probably but you've chosen kind of the fringe of dance, and I love the aspect that you're so adamant about it.
I've also played with like other types of dance, especially doing theater and stuff. Like had to learn a swing dance, and that was super fun. There's a little bit of ballet that I've learned just from pole dance. They use a lot of like conditioning exercises from ballet and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So I've learned some of the words and some of the like foot movements for ballet, and learned a little bit of tap dance in college. And
okay, that's amazing. Yeah. So one of your arts is dance.
Yeah,
straight up dance.
I do really like dance. I would definitely love to like get more knowledge in the other types of dance, but Yeah, I definitely do like the more exotic ones.
Yeah, the unusual. Yeah, that makes sense. Going back to the D&D for a little bit, same set of questions. In terms of D&D, do you have any muses there? Do you look up to anybody? Is there anybody that just makes you want to work on it more, or is it? And again, I won't lead the question.
I think the biggest ones are, before I ever started playing, I started listening to Not Another D&D podcast. And
okay. I've heard a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah, I really like them because that was like my first real experience with D&D, and one of the players was brand new, so I kind of learned how to play with him like through the podcast, and they're just very fun and goofy, and I have listened to all of their things, and this is what my shirt is, actually. It's from that podcast. But yeah, I think I'm starting to get into other like D&D groups and podcasts and stuff, and they're also very interesting and I like them, but that was like the original, so I really like that group of people and listen to all of their things.
Yeah. Do you find, okay, now this is, I think maybe a shared experience, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I find that the more people that I play with and the more people I listen to, mm-hmm. the more my own games are fun. I mean,
yeah.
Do you steal like an artist that way? And
I could see that, like figuring out like fun little shenanigans you can get up to. Yeah.
But, interesting. Anything about D&D that turned you off?
Maybe just how hard it is to schedule.
Oh my God.
Trying to meet up with a group is so hard.
Yeah, especially nowadays for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you with that.
Yeah. And all the people in our podcast are also theater people. And so we're always in shows we're always in rehearsals. And it's hard. We try to have a day every week that we're going to meet up and record, but it tends to get skipped a bunch of times. Yeah.
I'm trying to start up a new group, and it's mm-hmm. like, oh, it's going to be 5 weeks before we get to the next. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Completely with you on this one. Last couple of questions here. Mm-hmm. You've got D&D under your belt. You've got dance under your belt. You've got acting, directing, pole dancing, belly dancing. You're an amazing talent. Is there any art form out there that you have not tried that you think you might want to?
Well, I'd always like to get more experience with the different types of dance that I don't really have any experience with. But I think something completely different maybe would be like picking up an instrument, because I'm not great musically. I was in percussion and I learned some notes. But my boyfriend is a very good musician, and so I always see him do these wild, amazing things, and I'm like, that's crazy. How do you do that? So I think that would be something at some point that maybe I would try to learn. But
okay. Any instrument in particular?
I feel like I could pick up bass guitar, maybe.
Okay.
It seems a little bit easier than normal guitar or like a normal like instrument like a saxophone or something. That seems very difficult to me.
Yeah, I find it unusual that you're not into music, being a dancer, mm-hmm.
Because
somewhere deep inside of you, there's got to be some musicianship somewhere.
Yeah. No, I love to dance to music. I just can't play it.
Fair enough. Is there any art form out there that you know you would never want to try?
I don't know. I feel like I don't have the patience to pick up a lot of new things, because I feel like a lot of the arts are very, like, take years of practice to get any good at, and I feel like I'm already so involved in everything else, and it would be so hard to pick up something new.
But is there something out there that you know that like you couldn't pay me enough money to get into it?
I don't think so. I think I could get into anything if I tried it and had somebody to like lead me through it.
Yeah.
But maybe like painting, like realistic painting. Like I don't know if I can do that.
Does it even interest you?
I mean, a little bit, but I feel like I wouldn't have the patience to sit there and make a beautiful art piece.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I would love to be able to do it, but to start now, I might be dead by the time I get remotely good at it. Okay, one last question. Is there, and I know there is, some places we can see and or hear your art?
The podcast is QuestFest, and we have a link tree. So if you just look up QuestFest Linktree, it'll have all of the links to everything. We're on pretty much wherever you can get podcasts. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you know where to get podcasts.
The usual suspects.
But yeah, I usually listen to them on Spotify, but wherever you listen to podcasts. And then pole dance, I have an Instagram for, and I'm Cheshire Kitty 95.
And is it okay if we put that link there?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, because I know some people may not.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming out this morning and finally getting this done. Yeah, it's like we fought really hard for this, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging around and geeking out with us. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like and subscribe buttons. And more importantly, join the conversation and leave us a message or comment. We'd love to hear about your nerdy art. Thanks again, and join us next week for more Art Nerds.